But you went, oh, what else can I do if I can do this? Releasing it all. Whoa, look at
That's
that.
the worst time.
What's life like now, apart from the fact you can sleep all your
It doesn't matter how much I sit there worrying.
Did you consciously know what your root cause is? Hi, Sarah. It's so good to see you here today, and thank you for joining me.
Hi, Rachel. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. So the first question I'd like you to ask you is, what did you want my help to overcome?
Okay, Rachel. So the problem I had got was that I developed a rash on my hands, and for a long time I'd had really sensitive skin on my hands, so I was prone to getting rashes over the course of my lifetime since sort of being a teenager. But I came to you because the rash had sort of really settled in, and it was not going away, and it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'd tried a lot of things to try and help alleviate the rash. So I used normal medical prescription medications that I got through my GP. So the standard thing there is lots of emollient creams, which are helpful for dry skin, but it's just treating the symptoms. But then I was also given a lot of steroid ointments over the course of a few years, because this had become a fairly long-standing problem. So this particular rash had been up and was active for about 2 or 3 years before I saw Rach. In fact, actually might have been a bit longer. 4 or 5 years, I think. So I was using steroid creams, which at some level was helping the inflammation and trying to get them settled. And then I started getting reactions to the steroid creams and ointments. And so it was kind of like I kind of got stuck in this circle of trying to get the inflammation down and trying to get my hands and my skin feeling, because they felt really uncomfortable, trying to get them feeling more comfortable. But it's almost like the steroid cream was aggravating the condition even more, and it's like I didn't know what else to do. So I stopped using the steroid creams, and I just used emollients. And I used to, so self-help mode, I used to use lots of creams and ointments, and I used at night, so I used to put that on my hands and then put them in cotton gloves, because what also was happening, I was scratching at them in my sleep as well. So I had to wear cotton gloves to stop the scratching whilst I was asleep. I was doing it unconsciously as well. So it was like it was becoming a really bad habit. So not only had I got really sore skin, but I was also scratching a lot, and it was kind of like got into this again another vicious circle. So it was really hard to break the cycle of inflammation, and my hands just felt so sore all the time. And not only that, it felt horrible having sore hands. They were visibly sore, so there was a lot of because of the scratching, there was a lot of scratches, a lot of broken skin. And it was just doing absolutely nothing for my self-esteem, because I got horrible hands. And in a previous life, before this, it got a grip. I used to have lovely nails. I used to take care of my hands quite well. So it was quite upsetting that I got hands that felt really uncomfortable and sore, but also they were ugly looking as well. So I have a confidence problem. So it didn't help my confidence when I was sort of working professionally, because I'm a professional teacher. I'm working with children, and children spot things like this, and they can see. So I felt self-conscious about what my hands looked like as well. And I stopped going to get professional manicures because I felt ashamed about them.
Can we see them now? How do they look now? Whoa, yeah. Look at that.
That's the worst hand. So excuse my nail varnish. It's looking a little bit... Ugh. So there is still some damage there, but it's not sore.
So much different to how we started. They were red when we started.
And there's and because of the work I've done with Rachel, I understand why this is here, and it is healing, and it's and it's on its way out, and it's this awareness and understanding that I have about it that helps me manage it really from the inside out. Yes, I use emollients and creams because I do that anyway. I'm of the age where I need to sort of keep looking after my skin generally, and my hands are the same, and I've always used hand cream and things, and I use really sensitive hypoallergenic stuff, and there's a lot of things I can't use, so I am really sensitive, but I found things that I can use. But there's no, my hand, I mean, that hand, these will go over time, I think, these little calluses, but it's feeling comfortable, it's not feeling sore, and I don't feel bad showing it on camera, because before, I'd try and hide my hands from people and keep them out of sight because they were full of scratches and broken skin.
And the knuckles were swollen though, Sarah, too, weren't they?
And there was a lot of inflammation. And, so thanks to Rachel, I got to understand what the root cause of it was. And it was, I had a bit of a rough childhood. And it was me trying to connect with people who were unavailable, basically, unavailable emotionally. And also I was scared about, I cared too much about what people thought about me, and that was from when I was little. And Rachel helped me understand that, when you're little, you do care what your mum and dad think about you. And if they disapprove of you, for a child, that's a massive deal. It feels like a punishment. They might not physically punish you, but experiencing disapproval from people who you love, it has a major impact on children, and it was impacting me. Now, this was something I knew in my childhood. Well, I'm now, I'm almost 57, and I was still thinking those thoughts that my child self thought about connecting with people who are unavailable and worrying what people thought of me in my 50s. Because this is when this started happening, when I was about, let's say about 53, something like that, 52. And it was in a place where I couldn't ignore it. So it was trying to get my attention. Mm-hmm. And
you love the body.
And I was at a loss. I managed everything else before, but Rachel helped unlock my understanding about it, because it was clearly an emotional reaction. Because if it had been just a physical thing, then all the things that I'd tried from the doctors would have helped.
Yes.
And it would have worked.
You spent a lot of hours, money, time doing all that. As you said, 5 years you were spent in that pain point, really.
Yeah. And it was it was so frustrating. It's beyond frustrating.
You can't escape it, can you? It's just there all the time. It's stopping you sleeping properly. Yeah. People looking at you, especially kids looking at you, that they're going to, they always pick up on the vulnerabilities, don't they? So
children can see through everything. And when you're teaching a class of
they're going to pick up on it, aren't they?
8-year-olds or 9-year-olds, they can see things like this. So and occasionally one or two of them say, "Oh, your hands look really sore." So I was like, "Oh yeah, it made me feel so self-conscious.
Sure.
It was just eroding my self-esteem even more, which was pretty thin on the ground. And so thanks to Rachel, I was able to make those really deep connections from my childhood.
Thank you. So what was your experience of working with me like? And how many sessions did we have? Actually, that's another one.
Well, I think we had one main session, didn't we, Rachel? It was like one big clearing session.
Yeah.
And Rachel was lovely. Is lovely. And in the session, she was so patient, because it was I felt really self-conscious because it felt such an annoying thing to have. It felt like it was trivial, but it was having a big effect on my self-esteem. So I thought, so I was a bit worried about going into therapy, but Rachel was so calm and understanding and so compassionate. I felt really safe. Because at the background of this is not feeling safe, so I was reassured that I was in safe hands, and that helped me to help guide me through the process, because I do a lot of this work myself, but it's good to have somebody validate your experiences and to see that what you're feeling is real. It's not made up. And Rachel's able to give me that validation.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so lovely.
It meant a lot.
It does mean a lot. And it is, I often say to my clients, you know, you're me, I'm you, roll the dice again, you know, you're the therapy and I'm the client. So, you know, we've all gone through stuff, haven't we? That's so emotional. It's just about releasing it all. And our bodies speak the truth. You know, it's
Absolutely.
like you just said though, you're in safe hands, isn't that?
Yeah, that just came out. That wasn't contrived at all. It's like, oh, yes.
But whoa. So I think it's about telling yourself in the future or from now on, you know, I'm in safe hands because I'm looking after me now. That's a really powerful thing, Sarah, isn't it?
Yes, it was. Isn't it interesting that that's come out as well?
Isn't it? Yes, you're in safe hands because you're looking after you. You're not looking out for the other caregivers because you're an adult now and you're in control. That's really powerful.
Yeah, because let's face it, a feature of my childhood, I don't know, for people who don't know, I didn't feel safe in my childhood for all sorts of reasons. It was not a very pleasant place or safe place to be. You know, and that's the same for a lot of people. You know, we sort of make the best of what we're being given, and we just keep, you know, we do the best that we can. We become quite high functioning, but the effects of a difficult childhood, unless they're processed really deeply, can remain. And you know, I have done a lot of inner work, but that was a really serious sticking point, and it was good to get that awareness. And Rachel helped me do.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a beautiful session. I remember it well. So what's life like now then, after working with me? You've had that what's it like now?
So now I am sort of able to feel much more safe in myself, and and I'm taking pride in my hands now, and I look, because it's a reflection of the inner me. So I don't mean this in a sort of fake way, that I can look at my hands and think, no, I'm getting better, I'm understanding more about myself. It's kind of like a reinforcement that, yeah, things might have been rough when I was a kid, but they don't have to be like that now. So I'm actually just considering going and getting a professional manicure, which I've put off for so long because of this problem. The prospect of going and getting a professional manicure with my hands in the state they were was just like, it was just too much. It was like, no, I can't do that. But now I'm thinking, oh, I think I will now. So that's my next goal, is to go and get a professional manicure. Maybe I'll get some photographs for you, Rach, and you can see.
Wonderful. That would be absolutely awesome. Yes, that'd be great. Thank you. So thank you for sharing all that, Sarah. It's been wonderful talking to you. So some people might be nervous about investing within themselves, or being skeptical, or may never have invested in themselves before. They might be sitting on the fence. So what would you say to that person?
Well, I think you've kind of got to focus on what you want. So how much do you want to feel better? You know, I was stuck with this condition for a long time, and it was just robbing me of a lot of self-esteem. Now, I've learned to value myself a lot more, and feeling good is really important to me. And it's not because I have had such an unhappy childhood. So it's my priority to put myself first and start feeling happier about myself, and to understand what my body's telling me. And sometimes we can't see what we need to do. And that's why it's important to have somebody else literally holding your hand through the process, so they can see and validate what's happened in your past, and and also to have this vision of how you can be in the future. Because when we're stuck in a place that's hurting, we can't always see what's possible, what our best self is, what our best version is without this condition, because we're so used to it. We get used to feeling uncomfortable, and and it becomes our normal. So I think sometimes people might feel a bit scared about getting out of their comfort zone. It seems crazy, doesn't it, that having a really uncomfortable skin condition that's painful, that's visible for everybody to see, becomes comfortable for you because it's what you know. So that's why I think people are frightened to thinking that change is going to be scary, but actually sometimes we need to change how we feel about ourselves, and that's really important. So feeling down on ourselves is not good enough, I don't think. I've learned to realise that we're meant to be happy, and we're meant to be free from the things that are hurting us from our past.
Yeah.
And
the body keeps the score. It tells you.
And we have to. Nobody may have validated us before. We may have had some very painful experiences, but to go through a healing process like with Rachel, to have someone validate your experiences, and to keep that vision of what you want for yourself truly in your heart's desire, to want to feel comfortable in your own skin, to feel confident in your own abilities, is really vital to living a really good life, free from old yucky thoughts and beliefs. So Rachel helped me do that, and my body's appreciating it as well. So we're all on a healing path, and I think if you want to feel better, you've got to be prepared to do the work on the inside, and it is scary, but when you've got Rachel helping you,
it's scary because it
becomes doable and manageable, and not only that, it's not months of work. I think people are worried that it might take months and months and months to start feeling better. You can start feeling better really quickly with the right tools, and Rachel's got those tools, and she's a talented therapist, and she can get these changes for you relatively quickly. But the changes come from the inside out, and I think for so long people have been trying to control events around them, trying to control all sorts of things around them, but really the only sense of control we can have over how we feel is within ourselves. So Rachel's got those tools that help us see what's going on, understand what's going on, and to shift any incorrect beliefs as well, which drive these conditions. So
I'm working with the beautiful subconscious mind, which is 95% of everything we do, think, feel, and believe, and it's been recording everything since the moment we were born, and even before that. So why would it's amazing, with that?
And I know that as well, Rachel, but just to have some with this sticky point, because I've gone through a lot of healing, and I've done a lot of inner work on myself, but this particular issue I was really stuck with.
Because it's in your subconscious, you can't access it consciously. That's the problem.
And I needed Rachel's help to do that, because I couldn't do it for myself, even though I've overcome a lot of other problems and a lot of other issues with healing. That was a really big sticking point. I needed some help with, and it's okay to ask for help as well. I think a lot of people think they should do things on their own, and they're a grown up now, and I just need to change my attitude. And we kind of beat up on ourselves a lot when we've been through some tough things. But there are times when we have to learn to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help, and then once you open to that idea of asking for help, the right people turn up. And Rachel turned up for me, and it was just, I'm so grateful and happy and relieved. The relief of not having sore hands anymore is just lovely.
Wonderful. And I've just written something down, because you said something else. I'm comfortable in my own skin. So that's another takeaway for you. And I'm in safe hands. So there you go. You said it. It's just
I know, and that came from my subconscious. They weren't planned comments. That's
why I do what I do.
Yeah,
because I'm listening, and I'm listening to the words that you're saying in the session as well. And it's like, oh, isn't that interesting? And I'm looking at the similarities. I'm looking at the language. I'm looking at it's those fine tuning points that other people probably miss. I don't know, because I don't work with other people doing it so much, but they might miss that. And I think it's my understanding of how the subconscious mind works, the language that you use, the similarities, the differences. So isn't that funny how this now is so much like then? Isn't that, and it's that kind of stuff. It's collating it together. It's just being curious about it. And it's not scary, because you've already lived it. This is just about reviewing it. It's not... it's just reviewing it. It's just like telling yourself a story.
Absolutely.
Really.
I know people might be scared about thinking that they're going to relive something horrible that's happened in the past, but it's about becoming, having emotional freedom from things that have happened in the past. And actually, when you don't address these fears, because this was related to some really deep-seated fears, when you don't address those fears, it's living with you all the time. You embody that feeling. That fear is active in you all the time, and because you've got used to it, you don't know what it's like not to have that feeling, whatever it is. So we get used to having that feeling, but to just get rid of it, you don't get rid of it. You kind of come to an understanding and awareness. And Rachel's brilliant because she picks up on the language, because we do use language that describes exactly, and we might not have that awareness ourselves. And that's a great example, because Rachel heard it then as well. The way we describe how we're feeling. It's like a window into your subconscious mind.
Yes, it's just so beautiful. When you know, it's just, I just can't switch it off now. Listening, like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and joining the dots is really important. So and having somebody who can do that, like Rachel, so these things have happened, that blah 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 happened, this happened, I felt like this, I've always felt like this, and little anecdotes that you might tell to Rachel. She can join the dots and tell the whole story of what is really going on for you. So I had lots and lots of little dots, and Rachel helped me join them all up, and that's made the difference.
Yes, we did. Beautiful. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Sarah?
Just that that if anyone's still on the fence about it, just the relief of letting go of something that's been on your mind and in your body for so long is just phenomenal. It's like putting down huge bags of shopping where you've had to trudge for miles and miles and miles with huge bags of shopping. Suddenly to just put it down, put the emotional burden down, say, I'm done with this now. The relief of not having that affecting your life now is just incredible. And if you are on the fence, just try and think of what life could be like without the issue, because that's key and you can have what you want and you are allowed to be happy.
Oh, absolutely. It's about, like you said, it's about letting go, but we don't know what we're holding on to because we've been holding on for so long. Again, about your hands, you've been holding on. That's what your hands are saying. See? It's just beautiful. The language the body speaks is just incredible, and that is why I love what I do, because it's a gorgeous journey of self-discovery. And just in this interview, you can see how our body takes on those messages. We are literal in our symptoms. So, you are now in safe hands, and you're comfortable in your own skin because you weren't.
It's a healing experience, hasn't it, in itself?
Massive thing. Yes, exactly. That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah. It's been a wonderful discussion, and I look forward to seeing your hands being fully manicured.
And thank you very much. I really appreciate all that you've helped me.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here.